Show on the road. Podcast. We are live, and we're just enjoying the fact that Nora is transporting herself all over the Golden Gate Bridge.
Well, I want to go sideways.
I don't know.
Go sideways.
Keep flipping. Now it's kind of fun. So while Nora is doing some time travel over there on near the Golden Gate, I'd like to welcome everyone who's been tuning in on YouTube and on Zoom to GVDS Showcase number 7, which is all about remote and blended education. I have with me a group of individuals and professionals and practitioners here that worked on this diligently for, was it a week or 2 weeks? Did you guys go with this? Was it about a week?
It was a week.
Elapsed, yeah.
2 weeks.
Well, elapsed time, yeah, 2 weeks, so probably 1.5 weeks intense work.
Okay.
Out.
So they're going to be presenting on the work that they've done, how they approach the challenge of remote and blended education. They'll go through a little bit of what they settled in on their long-term goal, their sprint questions, kind of like the how might we's that they asked themselves. Then we'll get a little bit into the prototype they created and what users thought of it. And at the end, we'll do some Q&A, a little bit of looking back to see what went well, what didn't go so well, and we'll take it from there. So as you can tell, I'm on location on the beach. We have a number of people that are also in different places around the world and in fantasy spots. But of course, there are some people there. To be exact. Yes. So yeah, you're transported to a science fiction background, so that's perfectly fine. And then, okay. So in terms of starting off, why don't we? Do you want this? Are we going to go straight into the mural at this point, or basically we'll go into introduce everyone that's on the team through that mechanism, or do you want to wait until we do introductions before we do mural? What would you like to do?
Yeah, I think maybe it's personable if each person can say hello and what they do, and then I can introduce the absent team members. Yeah.
All right. So then, if I have the ball, I'm going to pick Tomaz, since he's a person I haven't seen in quite a long time. I want to find out what is Tomaz all about. Who is he? What is this person? So please introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Tomaz Nikono. I'm from Brazil. I'm a crazy entrepreneur in healthcare. I am executive director of a clinical laboratory, a regular company, and 2 unregular companies in healthcare, 2 startups. That's it.
Cool. So who should go next?
Oh, Americo is below me. Oh, hi.
All right. Hello everybody. My name is Americo, and I'm based in Lisbon, Portugal. I work as an independent consultant, providing service in research, marketing, and innovation, helping companies to grow their business. I also cooperate with consulting agencies who need some help, some extra pair of hands in research, analytics, data analysis to implement their projects. And that's it. And I'm passing to Nora. Nora?
Yes, I just had to turn it on. Hi, everybody. I don't know what the Golden Gate Bridge is really doing for my hair. It's kind of fogging me up.
Okay, it's covering it up so that basically we can see your face.
I'm in Oakland, California, and I have my own business, Scully Creative Spark, and I design engagements and I facilitate design sprints. Also an instructional designer, and have led online teaching and learning initiatives, and am very interested in female-focused health technology. And so glad to be a part of this team. Thank you so much for playing together.
And who should we call upon next, Nora? Who should introduce themselves next?
Mr. Soto, Ken.
Thanks, Nora. Hello, I'm Ken Soto. I'm a designer and creative director for my own firm, Collab Interactive, based in La Mesa, California, which is just outside of San Diego. And I've been doing that for about 20 years. And my focus is mostly on higher education. And I create digital and brand experiences for colleges and universities, in addition to doing some consulting on web development and app development, which I'm doing a lot of these days. And this is my second GVDS, and looking forward to the next one. And getting ready, I think, to launch a weekend service jam remotely here in San Diego in August. So that will be an experience, and I think I'll be taking a lot of the GVDS practices over into that experience. So Robert, be ready for a call soon to
I've got all of my social networking tools available to you. So once you get everything in play, I'll go ahead and start rolling that out.
I'm counting on it. So that's it for me, and I'm going to pass it on to our fantastic facilitator, Ming.
Hey, so my name is Ming Lee. Thanks, Ken and the team. I'm a remote innovation consultant, which means I do facilitation work, but I'm also very interested in seeing how I can help organizations and teams improve their remote collaboration, which is especially what's needed at the moment. I'm also a UX researcher, designer in the freelance side. Maybe, Ken, we're about the same age. That's 20 years of experience in that. I've also been running, I co-founded and I've been running a social enterprise 3.5 years. It's about helping people connect authentically over the internet. And it's not a dating site, just to make that clear. Yeah, so I'm the facilitator of this team in this sprint environment. And shall I just continue, Robert?
Yeah, if you want to, you can go ahead and start up the mural and kind of jump right into it.
Yeah, so I'll start sharing my screen and I can introduce the rest of the team. Here we go. So you can see the screen okay?
Yep.
Yep, great. So I'll introduce the rest of the people who aren't here. So Margarete, she's been doing fantastic research for us. And Nora's here, Americo's here, Ken's here. Maike, he's from New Zealand. He could be with us for the first part, and then something happened, so he couldn't join us for the others. And then you've heard from the rest. Maybe the first thing I want to highlight is that we're spread all over the world. We had a lot of time zones to cover. So I want to really thank Americo for being up late there in Portugal and being with us. Yeah, it was really hard to cover this span of time zones. If we had have had somebody here thrown in, that would have made it even more difficult. But that was one of the big challenges we had as a team. But I really liked how we all put in our contact information, our time zones, and worked out the best possible times for us. I think that's maybe one of the challenges in GVDS, especially for people in Asia Pac to connect to the rest. Yeah, so we had lots of time zones. I'll go a little bit through the process because I can show you here our how might we's and our artifacts, but also want to just cover with you a bit of the processes that were really important. When we were preparing for this sprint, for me, human connection is really important, and I want to understand people's concerns and expectations for the sprint. So I had one-on-ones with each person, trying to understand, you know, what are those issues for them, and also their availability. And the lesson learned here that I want to share with you all is I got to understand people's availability. And for example, the fact that certain people might need to pop off with almost zero notice. And now I've learned that I should really also share that openly with the rest of the team because that helps set the whole team's expectations. Yep. So on that though, I really want to thank the team for the dedication. We had all sorts of things pop up and we managed to pull together through all of them and achieve the end result that we got to, as well as having fun all along the way. Then we had a kickoff session that's not here. I can share with you a little bit of what that looked like. So the mural was like this. We used the upper part of it. We were agreeing on, so we had our expectations here, concerns, things we think we need help with, and also we worked out our tool set. Lucky that was quite easy. And then we went into a problem framing session. So the first part was we take this quite general statement of improving remote and blended education, and we wanted to look at, okay, who's the audience that's affected? and who is in our network. And we have to be realistic here because, you know, we're all coming together. We haven't worked together. We don't know each other's network. And we need to be able to actually connect to the people that we want to focus on, because we need to do our user research for that. So the thing I want to highlight here is, yeah, we listed them all, we voted. And I'd also like to highlight, when we have a design sprint, we never know what's going to happen, and things can change just like this. And I haven't shared this yet for with the rest of the team, but this little card here, I was umming and erring in my mind whether to throw that in, and at the very last minute, I thought I'm going to put it in there. And that ended up changing our whole direction because we voted on physical education teachers. So I just want to share that little point with you. That, you know, we never know what goes on. And that's one of the challenges in the design sprint. You can plan and prepare. You plan and prepare so that you're ready to take on the changes that come in. And I really like that our team went for that because it was damn challenging. That's possibly, I think, one of the most challenging topic areas. Then we went through looking at what do we see as the current state, and then what are the pain points. And we started doing, you can see here, a bit of affinity diagramming here in terms of cluster common things together. Then we also looked at, from those, our how might we's, which is reframing this as more of a can, in a more optimistic way, as well as the can we's. I'm just taking you through the process here. And then this is another part that I really liked, how our team worked. We then looked at those can we's and how might we's, and we individually wrote what we thought could be the problem statement. And the really special thing was our team somehow came together and managed to, we voted on these. We had some around from voting, not just one, and we managed to coalesce them all into one statement and also provide some context. And that was really critical because we had our design sprint coming up and we had to do some user research beforehand. So I really appreciated how our team was able to come to this single statement together within this short period of time that we had to do problem framing. So thank you. And that was a problem statement that we came up with, that they're physically isolated. Both the students and the teacher are separated. They can't naturally interact together, which is what kids basically just do. That's the thing that we found kids really do naturally, and how could we help them with that? And also the traditional activities are based on equipment and the space that the school has. So we're wanting to then, you know, there's a lot of issues that creates, and we wanted to see how we could work with those. So then we looked at this in a bit more of an optimistic way and looking at how might we. These how might we's came from our research. So we all went off and went through our network and secured interviews and had chats. There were lots of how might we's coming. I suspected that we might have hundreds of them. So the little trick I want to share with you that we did here is we have each interview, and then I request the team puts the top 6 how might we's rather than all, you know, however many they get out, 20 or 30. And because we had so many interviews, we ended up with 6 times, as you can see, many here, which then we affinity diagrammed and grouped. So that's also a little trick I wanted to share with you. I mean, it meant that simply for time, we couldn't process all those how might we's together. And these were the 3 ones that we came up with our big one being, how can we help kids play games together? How can we help kids feel that they're connected and interacting rather than feeling cut off and lonely? And how could we actually get the exercises to be something that students like? Then from that, we worked towards our long-term goal. So based on all that, we had a long-term goal. which, switching back, sorry, there's a lot of switching back here, is this was our long-term goal, that in 2 years' time, our solution will be expert recommended, also student loved, and will be the standard for enabling remote physical education. So a pretty ambitious one. The layout of this is funny because then we work out our can we's, which are our sprint questions. And those sprint questions help guide then actually a lot of the rest of the work, because we have to make decisions on what to do and what not to do. And our sprint questions are here. One is about privacy and sharing. One is about affordability. So can people with less income afford the service? And the other is really about engagement. So can we encourage a situation where students will actually devote more time to physical education in this environment, this lockdown situation, rather than spending a lot of time in front of the computer on these very addictive games. Yeah, so that's what I got to with mine. We got the sprint questions, and I think now, unless there's any questions, if there are any questions about this, fire away. Otherwise, I'll hand over to Ken, and I will stop screen sharing so that he can share, and then he can direct the rest of the discussion from here.
Okay.
So if you have any questions, let me know while Ken sets up.
I don't. I've been following along, so I'm looking forward to kind of seeing where it goes from here. Really nice presentation, then, Ming.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm sharing now. Can everyone see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
So we were pretty much in alignment, it turns out, when we started doing our solution sketches. I think we knew as a team we were probably interested in some kind of app, because we were already looking at a remote environment that people, PE teachers especially, and students needed to accommodate. They were already at home, and that, I think, focused our minds mostly on an app or a website or something remote or virtual. So we all seemed to gravitate in that direction, and all of our sketches were kind of in alignment. We had a few things like we saw earlier with our sprint questions and our how might we's of what we were looking for specifically. And it really came down to finding ways for students to play together, and for PE teachers to kind of get back in the mix, because what our research had revealed actually was that PE teachers were no longer in touch with students, at least in some situations. Certainly in the people that I talked to, all the PE teachers said, we're not really talking to students anymore. The best that we can do is to create some kind of activity and forward it to the grade level teacher, and then she incorporates it into her lesson plan. And if I'm lucky, I get some kind of follow-up maybe once a week on what students are doing. So when we started creating our ideas, it was focused mostly on trying to get students back to playing with each other again, and doing it in a way that PE teachers could kind of lead. So the sketch that we seemed to like the most was something called Playdate. And that's what I'm showing here. It's basically a Zoom-like interface, but it has an added capability of letting a PE teacher create a set of activities using a Zoom-like interface, but actually pulling activities onto a kind of a whiteboard or a builder, if you will, and assembling activities kind of like you would snap together blocks. And then there's some other features of it which we started to incorporate. But this was the sketch that seemed to resonate, I think, the most with our team. And that turned into our prototype, which I'm going to show you now, and it's called Playdate. And one of the things that I thought was really satisfying about our prototype was we didn't try to accomplish too much with it. We didn't try to make something that was interactive because that would have slowed us down. We created a demonstration of the concept that would be just enough to get testing results. And that allowed us to focus on the things that we thought were important and wanted to test with the people that we were going to put through our test. The other thing I think was satisfying about it is we pulled a lot of ideas from all the different sketches into one prototype, so that there were a number of things like the ability for students to participate in the building of a play date along with the PE teacher, so that they could indicate what their favorite activities would be, and the PE teacher could, if they chose to, invite students to participate in that process. Other things that we liked from other sketches were the ability to share out some of these after they had done them, so that they could create their own little clips for TikTok or whatever for social, and that students could play with this themselves and create their own play dates, and invite their own friends and family into their play dates. It wasn't something that was just being used by the school. It was available to everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can launch this. Let's see here. There we go. Are you going to let me open? There we go. So this was our prototype, which we used in our testing, and it consisted of 8 screens, a title screen, and then just kind of an overview of all of the functions and activities that we anticipated that this website would offer. And it was fairly simple. A PE teacher or anyone could start by pulling either students, if they had a class, in this case 4th grade, or friends, pull them into an existing play date, or create a blank one and start with a brand new process. And then from there, assemble a play date by taking activities that were already in the platform and dragging them into the interface and then snapping them together. And then from there, you could choose how long this particular activity would last, and also who would be participating in it. So the default would be that everybody does jumping jacks for a minute, and then the next activity is something called gymnastic artistic. And in this case, 4 people are doing it while everyone else watches. And then after that, there's 3 minutes of relaxing. And then as you build this activity, it shows you what the activity is going to look like. And it will also have demo videos so that everyone who's assembling this activity can see exactly what's involved in, for example, what gymnastic artistic is. Once that's done, then you can add people to these blocks and assign them to do that, so that as the activity is playing out in the Zoom-like interface, people can say, okay, it's my turn to do this, it's your turn to do that. Or students can co-create with their friends or family to create their own play dates, and just simply create a brand new play date. And the message is something that they can just type in and then just drag their friends from their address book into this play date. And then when they're ready, their friends can come back into play date and help them. They can each participate in assembling that play date, so they can pull their activities together into one play date. And then when everyone's ready, they say yes, and they assign a date. And then on May 28th, 2020, everyone gets the invite. They click it, they log into Playdate, and they all play together in this Zoom-like interface. And what people see is, just like in Zoom, they get to all do the activities together and watch the timeline, so that they know that, for example, right now, these 4 people are doing gymnastic artistic, And then as soon as that's done, everyone relaxes, and then this timeline just advances as the play date proceeds. Because it's for schools and for PE teachers, there needs to be a component of assessment and evaluation. And so we made sure to include that so that students could include their own reflections that could either be private or shared with everyone else, but something the teacher could see. And they could also rank and review these to tell the teacher, I like this one a lot, or this one wasn't all that. And then they could also share clips from their play dates to Snapchat, TikTok, or Instagram, and use that activity to kind of invite people to come back into the platform and play with them in Playdate. And finally, we also considered the idea that brands would want to participate and financially support this app by creating their own playdates using some of their athletes and having these athletes create playdates that people could choose and kind of play along with some of the athletes and experience some of the things that athletes have created just for a particular activity. So that was our prototype, and it came together pretty well. I think we were all pretty happy with it. But the true test was then to put it in front of our audience, our PE teachers, and some students. I think we also got to look at it. And I'm going to now turn it over to Americo because he's going to walk us through what we learned from our prototype. So I'm going to stop sharing and turn it over to you.
All right. So thank you, Ken. We tested our prototype with 5 physical education teachers and 2 students. We arranged our insights in 2 groups, considering these two segments. So I will start with positive statements found about our prototype. So students were delighted with the timeline to assemble exercises by sequencing those activities. That timeline was important because it gives them a global overview of the program, of the training session. Assigning students to blocks will make everything easier to organize and make things more practical. They also love the possibility to customize exercises and levels of intensity to their own preference and biological rhythm, because this is not considered at all nowadays. And this level of personalization was very well received. They were delighted with the idea of physical education student lessons from their reference athletes, like Ronaldo. To see their feedback was very easy for them. Also, adding what more rigor to teachers' evaluation, because nowadays no teacher can really evaluate if students are doing their exercises or not. And this will allow verification and bring more transparency to the evaluation. In regards to teachers, they were excited by the idea of physical education lessons from celebrity athletes. They think that it will bring students to the classroom, to the discipline. They also like the possibility to hear from their students, because nowadays feedback before COVID, it will be in local, one-to-one. But with the pandemic, there was this a big problem about how to do physical education and how to get and receive feedback from students. Our solution will provide a solution for that problem. All teachers felt that students would like to be empowered in planning or helping plan their own lessons. It will be positive, as they will feel like if they will build something, the whole class is involved at the same time in physical education, and this will be like building a culture of movement every day, not just physical exercise, something more global and more understood as positive. They also were excited by the possibility of interacting directly with students by a Zoom-like space. So many positive statements. We also had some negatives that we will explore now. For students, the demonstration with static image will not be sufficient. They believe that to demonstrate an activity, you need at least some 5 seconds video, and that will be very important for them. They show some serious concerns about privacy that will require more clarifying instructions. Schools do not allow to share content related to their physical education class. There are some issues, legal, administrative issues that we will need to explore and address. Activities reacting to each other. This is a feature from that we have in Playdate, and this feature was found confusing and will require more clarification. Teachers, they were some features will be for themselves and for their students. This is only a concept, therefore they found it maybe a bit confusing, hard to handle. Activities reacting to each other was also found confusing for teachers. Also concerned with privacy. Parents could have an hard time to explain how to handle the solution for kids, to their own children. They also found that maybe dragging all the full team, all the full class into a Playdate will not be that reasonable. We will have to come with some solution or some clarification about how to do it easily for them. Some informational statements we collected from our target students. All of them would like to introduce Playdates to colleagues and teachers. They were excited. They found our solution very convenient. It will empower them, and they felt that they will be very welcome to introduce it to colleagues and teachers. All students would like to be notified if the project evolves. This was a bit like a skin in the game question we introduced it in our narrative, and all students found themselves very welcome to spread the word, let's say. For students who has no technology, who has no access to Wi-Fi network, the application must allow to download and print the training plan, so they can take it with them to the training, to the field. Some students also suggested that Playdate could help overweight people by designing plans for their goals. They also mentioned that it will require more information about privacy, and they will, despite that issue, they would like to be able to share videos from their classes and activities by direct message or WhatsApp channel. So as long as it's not massively expose it, they would like to share it by a private channel. A couple of insights we found from teachers. They found they understand that the solution is great and it favors students' inclusion and empowerment. They think that local celebrities will be good sources for celebrity playdates. They also would like to have recorded sessions, not only pictures like actually it's being done in classroom, where parents take pictures and post them to confirm that they are doing the exercises. They found themselves very pleased to be prioritized by this project because their schools in their districts are not giving education and physical education, in particular the right relevance. They found the solution suitable for any kind of movement class, what is something very important for us, and for students of all ages. Teachers, also important to know that teachers need ability either to be able to control the progression of the lesson during guided playdates. So the Zoom camera will be a Zoom-like environment will be very important for them. From the student side, they were very delighted with the empowerment it provides them. They were delighted with the possibility of having personalized training programs in accordance to their own capacity to handle certain levels of intensity and in their own biological rhythm. They found that demonstrations with clips repeating 5 times the exercise will be more convenient than just pictures. They were concerned with sharing content from physical education class and the possibility of stepping blocks of activities and assigning participants to blocks would integrate the process and in a more practical solution for everyone. And now I'll stop sharing and ask Ming to give it a go.
Thank you. So I'll just share something else with you guys. You probably heard sometimes Americo's sound was disappearing, and if I come off mute, it fixed that. So I don't know how long that bug will last for, but just if you guys ever have the same situation.
There's a symbiotic relationship there.
Yeah, very weird, but I don't want all my background noise in there. Okay, so thank you very much, Americo, for that research. And I also want to thank you for the massive desk research that you did at the start of this and then shared with the other teams working on this. That was like, my God, will the guy ever stop? And I was like, how can he bring all this into our sprint? You really went all out there. So thank you for that.
My pleasure.
Yeah. The sprint questions. So we pretty much successfully could answer this one about the privacy and sharing, that yes, people are willing to, as long as we get the details right. This one, it really felt like we can get the engagement of students with this. As for this one, it would more depend on whether the sponsorship was there. So maybe this was the one that we hadn't managed to answer so clearly. Yeah, so I would like to take us now, oops, so yes. What did we, what are the different highlights or what we have got out of this or moved on to? I'll just add that we actually did submit the challenge to IDEO's competition. That was a process in itself for us as a team. I again appreciated how we managed to pull together and get that through. So that was also much appreciated. Few numbers here. These aren't really stats; they're just numbers. It's yeah, we had quite a few sessions. We had our 5 days of sprinting, but we also had those sessions before and after. We did quite a bit of voting. The thing I really appreciate is we got lots of interviews done and brought that real world data in, so that this, if you look at it in our time as most valuable thing, this expensive operation in time of all coming together, we could really put it to something that's of use. Yeah, and we didn't just do 5, there were 7 test interviews, and that's also Americo and Tomaz, as well as Margarete. You all 3 really went for it there, so thank you very much. Yeah, just check. Americo, would you like, I can keep, oops, so I can keep this screen sharing up, but would you like to talk a little about these things, the invalidation? So I talked about the sprint questions. Would you like to talk about this 2 and 3? Validation or invalidation overall of the concept?
Okay. So, do you share it?
Yeah, I'll keep sharing just so we don't have to keep switching.
Okay. So the prototype answered the sprint questions. In our understanding, yes, it does. Will the prototype properly address the long-term goal? The long-term goal is about having in 2 years solution. In 2 years, our solution will be expert recommended and student loved standard for enabling remote physical education. We also believe that it will be the case, as we found indeed some barriers and some obstacles we will need to address, but they seem to be feasible, easy to overcome, and in our perception that will be a problem to solve. Do we think that we addressed the challenge we took on as a team? Absolutely. We did quite a big number of sessions and voting sessions. We also, all of us took part in the user research, questioning subject matter experts, and they came from all over the world, I think, from New Zealand, Australia, United States, Portugal, Brazil, from all over the world. So we all took it as a team. User testings, design, I think just the interface was exclusively made by Ken, but all the activities where we all participated in all activities. So we definitely addressed this challenge as a team.
Yeah, and I could just add to that that when I was checking what the team wants to get out of this, we all wanted the experience in the design sprint itself. So that was very important to us. And I feel, at least from my part, I received a great experience of facilitating the team, also the preparation and planning and coordination work with Ken, and how Ken supported in that. That was invaluable. We all have a limited time, and Ken took on that role of coordinating. So from my perspective, the desire I had coming into GVDS to meet other people, to strengthen facilitation skills, that was really met. If any of you would like to join in and share, go ahead. At the same time, I can switch to highlights. So if you can see me moving around on the screen and moving things, that's the challenge with all these background things in Mural and not locking them. So I'll leave this part a bit free for us to all say things openly. There's the highlights up here if you want to go through them. But you can also say in your own words, because anyone looking at this can also read the screen. Yeah.
For me, I will say that really our commitment with students and teachers, understanding them, understanding their needs, and most important, understanding their aspirations, was something critical for our success. I think that when we found that empowerment was really important for students, when we also found that sports for some students that take this serious, their aspirations were like our north star was really important. So this commitment with understanding our target or our users was critical and was the most important in our own approach to solve this problem. Tomaz, would you like to add something?
Yeah, it's related with you said. We were working in problems that we never faced as humankind in modern days, and we managed to do different. We took the problem and we worked and we came with a solution. It's rare, you know. It's the initiative of the GVDS. It's unique. That's what I think. And meet people with in the team was incredible. There's always a Tomaz before a GVDS and a Tomaz after a GVDS. And that's why the experience, it brings us much. That's my point of view. Thank you.
Well said.
Ken?
I guess the thing that I want to just reiterate is Ming said earlier that when we started this and did our problem framing and we chose our audience and how he added physical education teachers, I remember thinking initially, that's not what I thought we were going to be doing in this sprint. But then I remembered, and I've said this frequently, I'm really only interested in the sprint. I'm not really interested in the outcome. The outcome will happen. Let's just see where this goes. So after seeing that initial choice of PE teachers, I thought, well, let's just see where this goes. And I have to say, I'm very, very happy that we went down this road, because we got to explore something that perhaps we weren't thinking we were going to explore. Because PE teachers are not what you think of when you think of remote and this kind of experience that students and teachers are going through right now with remote and blended education. And so choosing that let us go down a road that I think was probably unexpected for all of us, but ended up producing something that I think we're all very, very happy with. So I'm very happy with the way it turned out.
Thank you. It's really nice to hear once I've given you my hidden information about throwing that card in, how it reacted. I just remember Mike just grabbing onto it verbally and like, whoa. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the absence of Robert, I'm taking his role here on the agenda. Just to wrap up, we've gone through the different highlights. You can see them up here. Margarete, who's not with us, she mentioned that she could moderate 5 full user tests, which is something she was really wanting to do and increase her expertise in that. And yes, reflecting a similar thing to what I said about the dedication and support of the team. And we had some things appear that were completely unexpected, that we could get through them. I'd also like to highlight the mural again, dropping out some images. The awards that our team won, I think it's good to give recognition for those. So Margarete received an award for user research, and Nora for advising and coaching, and Americo for his collaboration and communication, myself for facilitation, and Ken for just being all round damn good. So, yeah, congratulations. Here is, I think, possibly from the first day, this screenshot. It's also up there on a LinkedIn post. I can write a LinkedIn post that summarizes this and put some better image of this. We can also take a screenshot now, even though we're not all here. I would appreciate that, actually. So let's see if we can do that. I'm going to stop sharing my...
You just have to shut down the share, and then we'll be able to get everyone in.
You are there, Robert.
You just have to figure out a theme between the 5 of you or the 5 of us that you want to do a theme about. So I did have one question before we do a shot. It's like, where does this entire effort go from here? Is this the exclamation point at the end, and then you're going to move on and do other things with your time? Or is anyone going to be like a representative in case someone comes around after seeing this video and say, I want to ask a question or two? Is there a contact person on this team right now for this?
Americo, would you like to field that question, or Ken?
How about Americo?
Yeah.
These people is terrible.
I mean, I'd be happy to. Probably one or the other of us, because of the team members, I think Americo and I were the 2 that I think expressed the greatest interest, or maybe capability or capacity, to maybe continue iterating on this idea. Although we haven't talked about it much in a while, I think that the 2 of us probably thought, well, let's see where this could maybe go. So either of us probably would be the people to talk to.
And what I meant by contact people is that if I do get an inquiry, I did in GVDS 3, and if you get an inquiry for someone that wants to know more information about the project, then I can go, oh, well, let me introduce you to 2 people that were detrimental to and know all about what the progression of it is. You can forward them the video of this, you can show them the mural, and then they'll jumpstart the conversation more so than having to kind of retread the previous kind of conversations you had here. So I'm trying to do that with showcases like this going forward, so that if there ever is an event where people go, by the way, that thing you did about remote and blended education, I want to talk about it. Can I have somebody I can talk to? Yep.
Will that somebody be from Texas, Robert? Or
I'm just saying, I could be from Houston, I could be from El Paso, I could be from I can have a very bad Southern accent like this, and you would not know the difference. I said, I watched that video, and boy, those men knew what they were talking about with that blended education. I got to talk to them because I got this project in 2021. My goodness, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. Too many people remote, too many people not going to school. I don't know what, the kids are going crazy. They're all over their parents. I mean, what am I going to do here? All right.
Well, if that same person is wealthy, then we'd be happy to talk to him.
So is that you, Robert?
Yeah, well, I'm not really wealthy, but yeah, I have food. I have money for food. That's where we're at. So that's good. And I'm healthy because apparently here in the States, Texas is very enthusiastic about raising those COVID levels. We thought we were going to be like getting on below the belt, and it's like we got to do everything bigger in Texas. So it's like no. You think you got an infection rate in Arizona? Give us 2 days. We're gonna have prayers on a beach, and everyone is gonna come together, and we're all gonna do like hula hoops and serenades and everything else.
We're right behind you in California, so
yeah, it's a race. Who wants to get more infections first? And all the while, Tomaz is crying every night, going, "What is wrong with you people?"
Yeah.
So yeah, I know. Denial and arrogance and everything, all the fun stuff that goes into that. So, For a final snapshot for the team that's represented here, what would the theme be? What would you like to do?
Something related to play, maybe something about play or athletics or something.
Well, here's play then.
I have nothing to play.
I got an idea. Let me go. I gotta grab something. Hang on.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Jeez. Ay, ay, ay.
I have nothing to play with here.
Trying to position this guy. It's a bit bright. The lighting. We'll do this.
Oh, I have the rubber of my daughter, so I will use this one.
Ah, that looks like a WhatsApp emoji.
Yeah. It is.
Can you take the screenshot, Robert? I don't have any more hands.
I can't. What the heck is that?
Where's Ken?
Where's Ken go? Ken's going somewhere.
He turned into a robot.
Yeah. What you got, Ken? Anything? Oh, there you go. Oh, wait. There you go. Okay. I don't know how I get. See, if I try playing like this, you can't really tell it's a controller. So I'm going to act like I'm playing it backwards. All right, ready? Hold that pose. 1, 2, 3. All right. Cool. Thank you, team. Thank you very much for getting involved this time around with the GVDS. Thank you for presenting all the work. It was a lot of work, it looked like. You got a lot of good feedback from it. The positives are that you got a lot of alignment around your long-term goal, your sprint questions, everything. And it's a testament to all of the effort that everyone put in, whether they're here or not here. And hopefully if that person with the oodles of money does contact the team, that I'll definitely head them back over to Ken and Americo, and then we can negotiate.
Sounds great.
So we'll see what happens.
That will be
All
great.
right, everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks again, and
Thanks,
for the
Robert.
presentation. We'll see you soon, but until then, have yourself a good weekend, okay? You all have to relax and hopefully, enjoy yourselves. Stay safe, people, and I'll talk to you
All
later,
right.
okay?
Thanks.